Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Grounded. My name is Brian Boyd. Today's topic is Don't Lose Focus. Before we dive into this, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and to wish you all a happy new year. I pray that wherever you are, God will empower you this year to fulfill every goal and dream that you have written down and have planned in your heart. But with that being said, everyone, let's go ahead and dive into the episode titled Don't Lose Focus. And this is one of those episodes that you could probably imagine has come at the start of this new year because while everyone is out there right now, hitting the ground running, they're pursuing after every goal and dream and aspiration that they've set prior to starting this new year. There are going to be times throughout this year where we may not be as passionate as we are right now, where we may begin to fall off and, fall behind on the things that we said we wanted to do. And this episode right here is simply an early encouragement and a reminder in the future, whenever you go through those phases, this to come back and remember that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what comes your way, no matter what opportunities or distractions come to take you off of whatever it is you're supposed to do, to always remain focused. Keep your eyes on the goal and to keep doing the stuff that you're supposed to do. But this is also a warning episode because there are times to where we may not fall off of our goals, but we may get caught up in the success that our goals bring. And it's in those things that we can also lose focus because we now take our attention away from what we ultimately set out to do and instead focus on all of the things that came as a result of doing those things. And this here is something that even the disciples during the times of Jesus had suffered with, because in this particular point tonight, where we're going to be covering Luke chapter 10, Jesus' disciples did just that because he had given them the power to cast out devils, to heal the sick and raise the dead. And he had charged them to go out into the villages and the cities to do these things for all of the associated people. And they had came back to him, cheering and prideful and upbeat about the fact that they can do all of these things and they could cast out devils and stuff out of people, and they were actually leaving and all. And while these are great things to have, while these are great gifts to exercise and to help people with, Jesus gives them the start warning. And he says it right here in Luke chapter 10, verses 19 through 20. And he says that, behold, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. In this particular passage, I have two main points to cover tonight in the topic, once again, of don't lose focus. And the first of which is that as we go on our journeys in life, we will be given power. All right. And we see it even right here in this passage because Jesus has given his disciples the power to do all of these things. And this comes with us in life because no matter whatever it is that we're doing, God will give us the power and the resources necessary to fulfill those purposes. And when those things come, we have to always remember to stay focused because there are going to be things that we're going to have that other people may not necessarily have. There are going to be things that God is going to charge us to do that other people won't necessarily be doing. And if we go into those spaces and we do those things, we're going to be granted things that come with that, whether that's notoriety, whether that's influence, whether that's people that are willing to come and help us do the things that we're supposed to do. But regardless of that, we're going to get a number of resources. And this is the same thing that happened with the disciples during that time as well, because you can only imagine how people reacted to them and their own personal reactions when they realized they could do all of these things for people, when they could heal people, they could raise them up, and then they could even take cast demons and stuff out of the people that was there, people that were struggling and cutting up for years. They were able to heal those people and set them free from the bondage that they were under. And so, rightfully so, they probably were very excited that they could do these things. And when they came to Jesus, Jesus had to once again remind them that while these things were good, they couldn't allow this to dilute their focus of what they were doing, which is truly the gift of salvation. And that actually goes into the second point of this, because while we may have power, while God may have given us the ability and the gifts and the talents to do all of the things that he has given us to do, at the same time, we can't let the power and the gifts and the talents that we have distract us from the stuff that we're doing. And that is found in Luke chapter 10, verses 20, because Jesus tells them that nevertheless, do not rejoice that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. And the thing right here is that Jesus, once again, going back to the point, is reminding them that while these things are good, that these are not the things that you should focus on, but you should instead focus on the fact that your name is in heaven, that you're doing the will of God, that you're doing the things that you have been destined and convicted to do. And this is something that if you continue to hold on to whatever it is that you're after, it will keep you in perfect peace. And I can't tell you just how many times in my life where even me as a person, I've got caught up in the things of God rather than God himself. And that is something that when you begin to do that, you begin to lose focus on the things that you're supposed to do. And ultimately, when you take your eyes off of the Lord and you focus on the things that you're supposed to do and you put those things over him, then you start to make mistakes and you start to make decisions and you start to go in a direction that he never wanted you to go in. And that's a place that you do not want to be in. And while God can work those things out for your good, you have to come back to him and you have to remember that he is God, because if you don't, he will humble you in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying that God is going to do anything drastic to you, but he's going to send gentle reminders, that, hey, get back on track. And that happened even to me a few years back, because there was a time where I was so focused on growing this, I was so focused on doing the things that God wanted me to do, that I wasn't praying as much as I used to pray. And that would be something, it would be like a small conviction. I would get notifications on my phone that would say, hey, you need to pray right now, and it's like the craziest thing, but that's how stuff used to happen. Those are the things that I know that when those pop up or things of that matter come and happen in my life, God is reminding me to come back to me. Come and serve me, come and love me, come and do the stuff that, I want to do. It's good that you have these things and I've given them to you, but ultimately I want you to have a relationship with me. And that's exactly what Jesus is telling them right here. Another point that I want to come up with is the fact of when we have this and we're on this journey, we should never become overly prideful with the stuff that we're doing, because once again, pride is the root of everything that is against God. And when we do these things and we start to take pride in ourselves and the stuff that we have, we start to take God out of the equation, because we believe that because we have these things, success and everything else that we're after is going to come. But in reality, God is truly the source of everything that we have. He's the source of the success. He's the source of the influence. He's the source of all of the power and the worldly things that we accomplish. And it's only through him that we can have those things. And so with this being said, that's why Jesus once again reminded the disciples, like, hey, understand that while it is good that you have these things, remember the ultimate goal, because if you take your mind off of that goal, then you begin to lose everything else. And even to close up on this point, as we go into this new year, always remember that while there are so many things that you're supposed to do, always keep your priorities in check. Always remain focused on the things that matter the most. And in my life, I can tell you more than anything else, outside of all of the stuff that I want to accomplish and do, whatever God tells me, I have to abide by. And I used to say that like half-heartedly, but now I'm at the point to where it's like I'm truly convicted by that, because as you begin to grow with God, you begin to see life from a bigger picture. You begin to see not just 1, 2, and 5 years down the line, but you see the rest of your life as well as the lives of the people around you. And when having that foresight, you begin to truly put into perspective the things that truly matter and the things that don't. And while I am glad and I'm thankful for everything that God has done for me, while I'm thankful that I have the gifts and talents that I do, I understand that these are things that are only temporary, and these are things that will only go so far and it will only carry me so far. But when true struggles and challenges and things come, I have to once again rely on God for direction, for clarity, for peace, and for strength. But with that being said, everyone, that pretty much concludes this episode. I thank you all for tuning in. If you get away, if you haven't got anything else out of this episode, just want you to understand that no matter what happens this year, don't lose focus. Don't take your eyes off of the things that you're supposed to accomplish. And then last but not least, just don't get caught up with the things that's going to come with your accomplishments this year, because I'm telling you, some of y'all will get some stuff this year. All right. Whether, like I said, whether that's notoriety, whether that's money, whether that's material, material gain or whatever, you're going to be rewarded for the stuff that you're doing. And like I said, don't get caught up. Don't get too prideful with the stuff that you have. And as long as you're able to remain humble and understand that God is there at all times, that you continue to put him first, he'll continue to enlarge you and expand you. But the moment that you take yourself away, the moment that you take him out of the equation, is when he will begin to send you things and to warn you and to bring you back to him. All right. So always keep him first. Always keep in line with him, and when you, by doing these things, you will have the success and the focus that you need to do everything that he has placed on your heart to do. But with that being said, I love each and every person that tuned in. Let's be sure to like and share this video. And like I said, 2, 3, 5 months go past, and you start to fall off a little bit. Save this video in your phone or whatever it is that you're doing, so that you can come back to this at a later date. But with that being said, take care, everyone. I love you all, and I will see you all next week. All right. My name is Brian Boyd. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Hey everyone, Brian here once again. Thank you so much for tuning in to Grounded. If these messages have been a blessing to you, please consider donating at thegroundedpodcast.com/donate. Furthermore, if you're looking for books and journals and other resources that will help improve your life, business, and relationships, please be sure to check those out at thegroundedpodcast.com/store. As always, it's been a blessing. I truly love each and every one of you, and I truly hope to see you all once again very soon. All right.